A 400-pound crocodile just climbed 6 feet off the ground. Not crawled. Climbed. In 2014, researchers in Florida and Australia confirmed something that sounds like a bad horror movie pitch. Crocodiles climb trees. Full-grown Nile crocodiles. American crocodiles. End quote. Even saltwater crocodiles, the largest reptile on Earth, have been photographed perched on branches, feet off the dirt, staring down like they own the place. You've spent your whole life thinking a riverbank was the edge of the danger zone. It isn't. Here's the number that should bother you. Some crocodiles have been spotted climbing trees over 6 feet high. That's above your head. That's above eye level for most adults standing next to a riverbank. You've been taught the rule your whole life. Stay 10 feet from the water's edge, and you're safe. Crocodiles are ambush hunters. They stick to the shallows. They can't move fast on land. You've heard all of it. But if a crocodile can be 6 feet up a tree, the water's edge isn't the boundary anymore. The boundary is wherever there's shade, cover, and a vantage point. That could be a branch over a hiking trail. That could be a low bough near a campsite 15 feet from the shoreline you thought was the danger line. And here's the part that really lands. This isn't one freak sighting. Scientists have now documented it across 4 continents, in multiple species, in animals ranging from 2-pound juveniles to genuine full-grown adults. This isn't an anomaly. It's a behavior. One you were never warned about. This isn't internet folklore. The claim comes from a peer-reviewed study published in the journal Herpetology Notes in 2014, led by biologist Vladimir Dinets, who spent years documenting reptile behavior in the wild using direct field observation and trail cameras across the US, Africa, and Australia. This is published science, not a viral rumor. Here's the real example. In the study, researchers observed crocodiles climbing near vertical trunks, not just leaning logs. Smaller individuals climbed the highest. Some were found perched over 8 feet up. But full-sized adults, animals well over 10 feet long, were still recorded climbing several feet off the ground on sloped trees near riverbanks in Africa and North America. Think about what that means physically. A crocodile's legs look built for one thing, crawling and lunging, but their limb structure lets them push up and grip bark well enough to shimmy up an incline. It's not elegant, it's not fast, but it works. Never assume height equals safety near crocodile habitat. A low branch, a leaning trunk, a fallen log propped against another tree, treat all of it as reachable. But height wasn't even the strangest part of what researchers found. The bigger question was, why bother climbing at all? Crocodiles aren't climbing to ambush you. They're climbing to survive their own biology. Crocodiles are ectotherms. They can't regulate body temperature internally. They rely entirely on their environment. And the ground near water is a mixed bag. Cool mud, warm sand, shifting shade. A tree branch solves multiple problems at once. It catches direct sun, it catches wind, which helps them cool down fast if they overheat, and it lifts them above ground-level predators and disturbances. Here's a number that makes this click. Crocodile body temperature needs to stay within a narrow range, and researchers found individuals climbing specifically during the hottest and sunniest parts of the day, exactly when basking behavior spikes. It wasn't random. It was thermoregulation. This is a heat management behavior, not a hunting strategy. That matters because it tells you when and where to expect it. Sunny days, open branches, midday heat, not necessarily dusk ambush hours near the water's edge. So, if it's about temperature, not hunting, does that mean climbing crocs are harmless to be around? Not exactly. And that's where this gets more serious. Crocodiles climb to watch you before you ever see them. Researchers noted something unsettling in their observations. Crocodiles on branches would drop into the water almost instantly at the first sign of disturbance, a footstep, a boat engine, a shadow. That reaction speed suggests the elevated position wasn't passive sunbathing. It was surveillance. A crocodile at ground level has a sightline of maybe a few feet across flat terrain and reeds. A crocodile 6 feet up a tree can see over vegetation, across a wider stretch of bank, down a trail. Height gives predators the same advantage it gives snipers and lifeguards, a wider field of view with less effort. If you're near known crocodile habitat, don't just scan the water, scan upward. A motionless shape on a low branch is easy to mistake for a fallen log until it isn't. Now, here's where most people get the geography completely wrong. This behavior has been confirmed close to home for millions of people, not just in remote jungles. The 2014 study didn't just document this in the Okavango Delta or the Australian outback. American crocodiles were recorded climbing trees in Florida, a state with over 20 million residents, and roughly 1,300 documented crocodile encounters reported per year through wildlife agencies, alongside a much larger alligator population that shows overlapping climbing behavior in juveniles. This means if you've hiked, kayaked, or camped near freshwater in the American Southeast, parts of Central America, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, or Northern Australia, you've been in range of this behavior without knowing it existed. Update your mental map. Crocodile country isn't just murky river surfaces. It's the tree line along the bank, too. That brings us to the one thing you actually need to remember and do differently. One small habit change removes almost all of the risk this creates. You don't need to panic about trees every time you're near water. Climbing crocodiles are still uncommon compared to ground-level sightings, and most incidents still happen at the water's edge, not in branches. But wildlife safety experts recommend a simple standard for crocodile and alligator territory. Maintain distance from the entire bank zone, not just the waterline, and treat overhanging low branches within a few feet of the water as part of that danger zone, not separate from it. In one sentence, when you assess a riverbank for safety, look up as often as you look at the water. That single habit, checking branches, not just the surface, is the practical difference between outdated advice and current science. So think back to that 400-pound crocodile, 6 feet off the ground. It wasn't a glitch in nature. It was biology working exactly as designed: heat regulation, vigilance, and a body built for more than anyone gave it credit for. Here's your one action. Next time you're near a river, lake, or wetland in crocodile territory, do a 2-second scan upward before you settle in. That's it. That's the whole habit. If this changed how you'll look at a riverbank, subscribe, because the natural world keeps breaking its own rules, and this channel exists to show you exactly where.